The Clever Apprentice by Walter Gregor. A shoemaker once engaged or hired an apprentice. A short time after the apprentice began, the shoemaker asked the boy what he would call him when addressing him. "Oh, I would just call you master," answered the apprentice. "No," said the master, "you must call me master above all masters." Continued the shoemaker, "What would you call my trousers?" The apprentice said, "Oh, I would call them trousers." The shoemaker said, "No, you must call them struntifers." "And what would you call my wife?" The apprentice said, "Oh, I would call her mistress." The shoemaker said, "No, you must call her the fair lady madam." "And what would you call my son?" he asked. The apprentice said, "Oh, I would call him Johnny." The shoemaker said, "No, you must call him John the Great." "And what would you call the cat?" The apprentice said, "Oh, I would call him Pussy." The shoemaker said, "No, you must call him Great Carl Gropus." "And what would you call the fire?" The apprentice said, "Oh, I would call it Fire." The shoemaker said, "No, you must call it Fire Evangelist." "And what would you call the peat stick?" The shoemaker the apprentice said, "Oh, I would just call it Peat Stick." The shoemaker responded, "No, you must call it Mount Potago." "And what would you call the well?" "Oh, I would call it Well." The shoemaker said, "No, you must call it the Fair Fountain." "And last of all, what would you call the house?" The apprentice said, "Oh, I would call it a house." The shoemaker said, "No, you must call it the Castle of Mungo." The shoemaker, after giving this lesson to his apprentice, told him that the first day he managed to use all these words at once and was able to do so without making a mistake, the apprentice would be at an end. The apprentice thought hard about the shoemaker's agreement and was not long in making an occasion for using the words. One morning he got out of bed before his master and lit the fire. He then tied some bits of paper to the tail of the cat and threw the animal into the fire. The cat ran out with the papers in a blaze, landed in the peat stack, which caught fire. The apprentice hurried to his master and cried out, "Master above all masters, start up and jump into your struntifers and call upon Sir John the Great and the fair lady madam, for Carl Gropus has caught hold of Fire Evangelist, and he is out to Mount Potago. And if you don't get help from the fair fountain, the whole of Castle Mungo will be burned to the ground." Clever man, clever apprentice.